In 1998, 21 years ago, my grandfather was diagnosed with Parkinson's. From that day on, his life changed, not for better, but for worse. He used to be a lively man who could care for the people around him, but today he looks like this, where he can barely function and care for himself on his own. There are 10 million people around the world who are just like him, where many people are in a state that are much worse than him. And this is because Parkinson's is the second most common neurodegenerative disease that exists in our world today. So what is Parkinson's disease? Parkinson's is a progressive neurodegenerative disease, meaning that neurons in the brain progressively die and degenerate. Now, these neurons produce a crucial neurotransmitter called dopamine, which is responsible for increasing activity within the brain, and this allows for signals to be sent to the rest of our bodies so that we can move and function. And so without these neurons and without dopamine, the effects of Parkinson's include spontaneous movement, tremors, dementia, and in some cases, early death. Now, the real problem is that drugs used today are not effective. They can't treat the symptoms, and they're often even worse than the disease itself. They just aren't effective. So what we've been able to accumulate and understand is that the only way to effectively treat the disease would be to replace these neurons entirely. Now, lucky for us, there are cells within our bodies that are able to do this for us. And these cells are called stem cells. Now, stem cells come from the earliest stages of life and have two very unique characteristics. One of them being self-renewal, meaning that stem cells can replicate themselves and replace lost and dead cells. For example, the cells on our skin die very quickly and very often. Now, our skin stem cells can recognize this. They can then replicate themselves and replace these lost skin cells so that our skin can act as a barrier between our blood and the world around us. Now, the second unique characteristic is the ability to differentiate, meaning that stem cells can move from an unspecialized state to a specialized state. They can move from a state of pluripotency, meaning they can create any cell type in the body, to being able to only create one specific cell type, like a liver cell or a skin cell or a neuron. Now, scientists are able to leverage these unique characteristics and leverage stem cells to create stem cell therapies that can treat diseases just like Parkinson's. Now, a very common type of stem cell used to treat Parkinson's and is being experimented with right now are called induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPS cells. Now, these are created through taking specialized cells, like a skin cell or a neuron, from a patient. They're induced with 4 specific reprogramming factors to create a pluripotent stem cell, meaning they can create any cell type in the body. And so with this, they can be used in therapies as iPS cells can be differentiated into neurons. They can be injected into a patient's body and replace all the neurons that are lost because of Parkinson's disease in the first place. Now, this method has been proved to be so successful that a team of scientists at Kyoto University are using this method right now on human patients. And the clinical trial is not only expected to treat Parkinson's disease, but cure it entirely. So you can see that with all this information, stem cells have incredible abilities and incredible potential to maybe even cure 10 million people. So in 5 to 10 years, when another person has the same story as I do, their grandfather will have a different outcome. Their grandfather will be able to live with a long-lived and normal life because of stem cell therapies. Thank you.